Hi, everybody. Meteorologist Joe Cioffi. It's weather in 5 days in 5 minutes, as we have this weather system that is going to be impacting the area today and into tonight. We're going to take a look at the satellite and radars in just a second. First off, though, winter weather advisories up. You can see where they are up this morning. Western Maryland, northwestern Virginia, and much of West Virginia, and then in a small portion of south central PA, mainly well west of Harrisburg. That advisory is going to be shifting eastward so that by this afternoon, we're going to see that winter weather advisory spreading across south central and into eventually southeastern Pennsylvania, much of Maryland, including, by the way, Washington, D.C. and Baltimore. So it's basically from I-95 north and west. And then tonight, we're going to shift it even further east with winter weather advisories up in southeastern Pennsylvania, including Philadelphia, and also for New Jersey, south of Route 195. There's nothing yet from Upton. I'm thinking probably some of these winter weather advisories will be extended north and northeastward, particularly over the areas around Long Island and southern Connecticut. If the radar remains the way it is, which is actually rather impressive looking this morning. So just giving you the Weather Service forecast amounts. Really not too much has changed from all of this in terms of what to expect. It's generally going to be a 1 to 3 inch snowfall from Maryland south and west, and also for south central Pennsylvania, south and west into West Virginia. You start to see some 3 and 4 inch amounts there. Now, if we extend this into the overnight, then we're putting an additional 1 to 2 inches in some places. One of the tough things here is the fact that we've got borderline temperatures, and it might actually even start as a little bit of rain in some places. So I'm thinking in terms of how this all accumulates. Just watch your temperatures. You'll probably see accumulation on colder surfaces, car tops, grassy surfaces, and then if you can get a little bit of a burst of intensity, perhaps you'll probably see some accumulation on some secondary roads. I'm thinking the primary roads here are going to be okay, given the level of traffic and the time of day here, because we're talking much of the area from south central Pennsylvania north and east won't see snow until late this afternoon at the earliest. And for areas north and east of Philadelphia, we're talking about some snow coming in probably after 7 o'clock tonight. Here's the radar, and actually, this is not a half bad looking radar presentation this morning across West Virginia and Western Virginia, Eastern Kentucky, with some heavier rain showers down into Western North Carolina and South Carolina. So it's a compact system, makes things pretty a little tougher to forecast because you got to get inside that ball of precipitation, and you have to see if this thing holds together. Much of the overnight model runs that we looked at were somewhat impressive with kind of holding that area together. Here's the the satellite loop, and there's the disturbance moving eastward. You could also pick out, by the way, this upper trough that's up in the western Great Lakes. That upper trough is a little bit faster than what was being modeled, so it's kind of catching up to the system to the south, and if it's not going to phase together, but it may come close enough that it just gives it that little extra round of juice that you look for in these situations. The WPC folks are still keeping much of their probabilities here fairly low. In fact, this is for 2 inches or more, so you can see where it lines up. Just going to give it a quick refresh here, and we do actually have an update. So they have added a 5 to 10% chance of 2 inches or more across central New Jersey down into western Long Island. And actually, the probability increases a little bit as you go to the eastern half of Long Island and into southeastern New England. And you have a much more solid forecast here west of between Philadelphia and Harrisburg, but mainly from Harrisburg south and westward down into West Virginia, where you have a near 100% probability of at least 2 inches of snow falling. So going to pick up the overnight NAM model, the last run of the NAM. where it takes this low, moves it into southern Virginia by late this afternoon. I'll just roll it back. And actually, when you look at the radar now compared to what the NAM looks like, it's far more impressive. The models may not be handling this well in terms of the amount of precip that's being generated, but this is what it's supposed to look like right now. And as a reminder, here's what it looks like on the actual radar presentation. So the radar reality is outperforming what the models are showing. So here's our little low. It runs up off the Virginia coast and then turns northeastward. You can see it there, and it holds on to this area of snow that moves across New Jersey and into Long Island. In fact, the NAM's got that darker blue shading, which is would indicate a burst of moderate snow, perhaps in some places for an hour or so. And this is at 11 p.m. tonight. The precip comes to an end around midnight in New York City, and then shortly after that over Long Island. Hangs on for an extra hour or two over central and eastern Long Island because of where the low is, and then it pulls away. Those temperatures are going to be borderline. That always makes forecasting tough. And in a situation like this where you get a little low that starts to deepen a little bit east of New Jersey and south of Long Island, it's not impossible that somebody winds up with a surprise. So just bear that in mind. And then later tomorrow, as colder air arrives, we're going to probably see the chance that there of snow showers and maybe even a heavier snow squall. Now, very quickly, with regards to the rest of the week, it's going to be chilly tomorrow, no doubt. Cold tomorrow night, teens in low 20s by Thursday morning, and cold on Thursday. That upper trough pulls out. Big ridge builds in the east, and that sets us up for a fairly solid warm up here starting on Friday. So this shot of cold air goes in and out quick. The warm up comes fast, and we'll be into the 50s and maybe even into the 60s by the time we get to the weekend here, with this frontal boundary setting up to the north, perhaps getting into some showers and maybe even a couple of thunderstorms here Saturday night into Sunday morning. You see where all the snow and ice is, way up in upstate New York and in northern New England. So this is a very, very warm setup that we're going into for the end of the week and the weekend. So for you snow lovers, enjoy whatever's coming late today into tonight. And again, it's going to probably be anywhere from a coating to a few inches. That'll be the general accumulation forecast. And then maybe a couple of snow squalls running around late tomorrow. Cold tomorrow night into Thursday. And then we'll start a big warm-up for Friday into the weekend. Updates coming. Check the app and also final call forecasts. Patreon members, you'll get your weather in 10 as soon as the NAM is done. And we even have the SREF plumes that are done. We'll go into that a little later this morning. And we'll see you tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show at 7 o'clock Eastern Time.